This question is asking us to graph this quadratic function, and along the way we also need to fill out kind of all this information to help us kind of put the different pieces on this graph so we can figure out kind of which way this graph opens, where it's located at with the vertex and all that stuff. So let's jump right into it. The first thing you might want to do is list out the A, B, and C. As long as this is kind of in descending order, those are relatively easy to find, A, B, and C, where our A is our leading coefficient of 1, the number in front of your squared term. The B is going to be -2 in front of the X, -2, and then our C is 5, just like that. So probably should have listed that out a little better. There we go. Anyway, which way does it open? Well, it opens, if your leading coefficient is positive, this is going to open up. All right, so I'm just going to say up there. And if you think a parabola that opens up is going to look something like this, then is it going to have a minimum or a maximum value? Well, if it goes on forever up, it's never going to reach the top, right? And so it is going to have a bottom, though, which is a minimum value. Its axis of symmetry is defined by the formula -b over 2a. Again, our a, b, and c are important here because -b, a -2 is a +2, divided by 2 times a, 2 times 1 is 2, and so 2 divided by 2 is 1. All right, now this axis of symmetry, this is actually the line x equals 1, which, if this is my x-axis at 1 right here, would be, I'll draw it as a dotted line to help us. It would be this line like that. That's important because it's going to help us find where the vertex is. If you think that it has to be kind of split perfectly in half, well, the x value of your vertex would also have to be 1. So in order to figure out kind of what the y value is, I'm going to plug in 1 for x, and that should spit out what my y value is. Now to plug that into the original function here. So every time I see an x, I'm going to replace it with 1. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to go, I like to leave parentheses every time I see an x, and that should spit out my y. So in those parentheses, I'm going to put 1. So now I'm just going to do the math here. 1 squared is 1. -2 times 1 is -2 plus 5. So 1 minus 2 is -1. -1 plus 5 is +4. And so y is going to equal 4. What that did for me is it found the vertex to be the point 1, 4. So 1, which is good, it's on that line, which is what we said earlier. And I'm going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is going to be my vertex right there, the point 1, 4. The y-intercept, well, if that's my x-axis, this is my y-axis. So it's going to intercept the y-axis. And if you think, what is the x value there? Well, it's at 0. If this was 1, if I go back 1, that's 0. So I'm going to do the same thing, plug in 0 and figure out what that's going to be. Now, when you're written out kind of in this standard form like this, it's really easy to see because that's going to become 0 if I plug in 0, right, for the x, and so is this. So all that's left is your constant term of 5. In fact, some teachers probably teach a little shortcut that you can just cover that up and see that your y-intercept here is going to be 5. Why is that important? Well, it's important to show where it's going to be at on our graph, but also remember, quadratics have symmetry. So because of that, it's also going to be the same distance away on the other side of this line, this axis of symmetry, your AOS, which would be here at the point 2, 4. So we have 0, 4, and 2, 4. And so that's going to go up from there. All right, now I need a few more things from this. And you could create a table if you want. I know some teachers make you draw out tables to have other points. In fact, if yours does, we have kind of 3 points figured out on our table. We have 0, 1, and 2, right? If you need another point on either side of that, let's go with -1 and 3, and those should also be the same. 0, remember, spit out 5. 2 also spit out 5 for us. And then 1, we did that math over here. That gave us 4. So what about, let's do 3, all right? If I plug in 3 to the same equation, and again, I got this by plugging in 3's for all my x's. We don't know what y value gets spat out at us. 3 squared is 9. -2 times 3 is -6 plus 5. So 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 plus 5 is 8. So it's going to give you a y value of 8. And if we did our math right, since this is symmetric, this is also symmetrical. Since it's symmetric, that's also going to be 8 on the other side. So we can fill this in as -1, 8, 6, 7, 8, and 3, 8, like that. And that'll help you draw your curve when graphing that quadratic function. Now we're not done, because this question also asks for domain and range. So if that's what you've been waiting for in this video, we have to remember that our domain is our x values, our range is our y values. So on our x values here, what is happening? Well, if we were to take a snapshot and go out for infinity of what this would look like, it would keep going to the left forever and to the right forever. It just happens to go up really fast. It goes up faster than it goes out. But it is going to go from -infinity to +infinity, because we can never reach infinities. Those get parentheses around them. And for the range, well, it goes up forever, so it's going to go to +infinity, but it doesn't go down forever. It stops right there at this point, which remember was up 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to start at 4, and we actually do hit it. Remember, our value gave us 4 when we plugged in 1. So that is the lowest value of our y's. So it's going to include a bracket there, but it is going to go up to positive, that's a terrible infinity, to infinity with a parenthesis like that for the domain and range. That is how you graph quadratic functions.